I said in my episode 1 review of this show that I would be doing a season review, so here we are. I'm doing a season review on Stranger Things. And to be honest, I had one episode to go and I really did not want to see it, but I know I said I was going to do a review on it, so I had to watch that last episode, but I am dying to see season 2. So let's talk about season 1 here. So it's going to be spoilers here, and I'm not going to talk about every episode because that will be fun, but it'll be very long. So I'm going to talk about some things I liked, some things I did not like. So here we go. Season 1 being 8 episodes, there really was no slowed down episode or any episode that felt like it was kind of just filler to slow things down. Every episode, for the most part, it had something entertaining going on, if not interesting, or if not, both things were going on. We had either one of the two, or we had both going on for every episode in this 8-episode season. David Harbour, who is just amazing as the chief of police in this town, he's just really great in this role. This is a role for him. He's great in this. He just has a really great presence about him. The way he walks, the way he talks. I really like when he raises his voice at someone to get his point across. David Harbour he's perfectly casted as the chief. He's just amazing in this. I can't say more. He's just great as the police chief. I could probably do an entire video of David Harbour as the chief in this show. I could probably do that. That would be fun. I think I would do that. When we first see him in the very first episode, he's more like a lazy deuce of a police officer. But then as the episode's going, that changes. Boy, does that change, because he really tries to get things done. He really tries to go out and find little Will Byers, Winona Ryder's son. He really does make things happen. Without him in this season, I don't really know where our characters would be. He really gets things done here. Set design and production is another thing that I can say that's amazing. There's quite a few things I could say about this show that is amazing. And the set design and the production is one. Now, we know watching this show that this show is set in the 80s, but for some reason while I was watching this show, being in the year 2016, this show made me feel like I was actually in the 80s myself, and I wasn't just in the year 2016. So great job to the production and the set design. Watching this entire season, I have to ask, how is Winona Ryder going to go back to being sane? How can her mental state go back to being normal after this one season? All she did in this season was cry and be depressed. Just thinking about it, for 8 episodes, that's what she did. And I have to think some serious, real mental scars has to be on her. She has to be permanently scarred from doing this role somehow, some way. She's great in this also. Favorite scene out of the entire season was when Dustin, who is my favorite character, he cussed a lot and I love him for that. When he figured out the whole thing, the whole scenario with the compass, when he put that together, he was pacing back and forth, and he put that together with all of their compass together and try to find the opening. That was very interesting and very cool to see. That was my favorite scene. If not, that was my favorite scene. My favorite scene is probably everyone's favorite scene in this entire season, is when Eleven flipped the van, when she flipped the trucks like over their heads. That was pretty badass. I just love watching when the characters, like, they try to put the pieces together and then the pieces started to come together and you see this and they see it, and it's just a great thing to see. For a second, I gotta go back and talk about 11 for just a second. I'm gonna wrap it up with 11, but for this particular part about the van, I gotta talk about 11 here. The thing about 11 is when she flipped the van over their heads, that was cool, that was awesome to see, but the thing about it, I feel like her energy, her power should have been drained for at least 2 episodes, because now I feel like her in the show is kind of broken. I don't want to see her be that powerful without some kind of trade-off this early on in the show, because now she seems kind of like Magneto-like. Is she as powerful as Magneto? Is she Magneto-like, or is it going to take her some time? But I just feel like she's too young to be that powerful without really getting drained and really being some kind of strain on the crew. My other issue with this show is Natalie Dyer's character, Nancy. She's too violent. She's way too violent for what her character was 3 episodes ago. For some reason, it changed to now she's more of the hero chick, and I really don't want to see that kind of character in this show. This show does not need that. I think she should be how she was in the beginning on in this season, and not how she was at the end of the season, actually pointing a gun at someone. Just like I said in my episode 1 review, Dustin, Mike, and Lucas, they're absolutely some of the best child actors I've ever seen in front of a screen. They're great. They fit. Their chemistry is unreal. Every scene they're in, I love, I'm interested in. Lucas has the best facial expressions. Dustin's my favorite character, and Mike is awesome too, but I don't really want to see a relationship between Mike and Eleven. I really don't want that. I felt like the kiss at the last, I think that was the last episode, I did not want to see that. I wanted that to really just hold on and wait for a later moment, probably like a season 2 or something. But all of them are great at their roles. I love every single one of them. To close this out, I have to talk about Eleven again. I just have to talk about Eleven again. She's great, as I think I've said plenty of times before. But what I love what this show does with Eleven is when she needs to be a badass, when she needs to really do something badass, her facial expressions, it really sells you in that she's a badass along with what she does. But when the show needs to illustrate that Eleven is just a little girl and she's fragile and she's vulnerable and she has feelings and she can be hurt by things, she does a great job as being an actress and showing that, but the show does a really great job as well illustrating that. Oh, guys, for all things holy, if you have not seen this show, can you please see this show? I'm mad that I seen the last episode. Now I'm dying to see a season 2, but I just had to get in front of my camera. I had to talk about this. A great show. A great season. I don't really know how you follow this season up, but a very, very great show. Guys, check out Stranger Things Season 1, Netflix. David Harbour, amazing as Chief. Guys, until the next video, I'm out.